I'm trying to get this over with as soon as possible. It's good I saw you were staying hydrated with a glass of water.
Oh no, that's
You
Jen.
gotta stay.
All we ever wanted to talk about with other writers was our process and like how cool our process was and how much better, whatever, how fruitful our process was. Well, I was just
True.
wondering, like,
But tell me about your process. What do you do?
generally, I will just be messing around on guitar and I'll find a chord progression I like. Paul McCartney, he knew if he had a bopper, if he could remember the chord progression the next day after
Yeah,
he came up with something.
a bopper. That was
With
a bopper.
me, if I can remember it in the morning, or if I can remember it a few days later, I'm like, oh yeah, this might have something to it.
That's true. Yeah, that's real.
And knowing you've taught me to like record everything. And I feel like it helps sometimes, but I also feel like it's not as natural because I will record something that I maybe wouldn't have remembered the next day. And I still get stuff out of that. But I think, yeah, generally I will play guitar, find a chord progression I like. That'll get stuck in my head for like weeks on end. And then all of a sudden I'll come up with some kind of lyrics that go along with it. And then I'll mess around with those lyrics until there's something that works. I think
Yeah.
also I definitely springboard stuff off you, which changes the song. Honestly, recording Windows was the first time I had been in a recording studio where we just boom, boom, boom. We got to get that song done. Okay, we
That's
got it.
cool.
What about this?
Yeah.
What about this? So that was a completely different experience for me. And I think that kind of helped me in like the speed of writing a song. Like, oh, is this working? No, this isn't working. Okay, let's try something new. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, there are times where I come up with a line or two or a chorus or a like half of a verse or something that I really like.
Yeah.
And just because it sounds like, I mean, I know you rhyme fast, super fast, but I like when I don't know. I like the sound of certain words together, which is kind of
Yeah.
like
That's
um,
perfect.
what's his name? Nirvana. Kurt
Kurt
Cobain. Kurt
Cobain.
Cobain. Kurt
Yeah.
Cobain used to write, and he would just put words in there that sounded good together. Didn't matter if they made sense or not.
Team spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll just find stuff. I'll just like come up with words that sound good together, and then I'll try to put that. I'll come home. I'll start playing guitar, and I'll figure something out where that works. Generally, that does not work out as well as coming up with the chord progression first, but
So
it does sometimes.
from what you're saying, it's more of a slow burn. Like you'll come up with the guitar part and then 3 days
Yeah,
later you'll be ready to work on more, and then you kind of it ruminates in your head. So it's kind of it goes across a long period of time before you're ready to actually get it out. So you really perfect it. Is that where you're is that that's what it sounds like.
like
You
I
have a
have
set vision.
a song. I don't know if you've ever heard me sing it or anything, but it's called "Gotta Get Back to the City." And I came up with this chord progression, and I just had nothing for it. I had no words, nothing. I didn't have a chorus. I didn't have a bridge. I didn't have anything else but this chord progression. And then my friend came over. This is like 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
That's what
I don't know,
I was
a
gonna
long
ask
time
you.
ago.
How, yeah, when did this happen?
But
Yeah.
he played this completely different chord progression where he just plays an E and then he like starts playing the seventh, the ninth, whatever, goes to A7 and he just, and I was like, how do you do that? And he's like, I'm just climbing up the ladder here. It made as soon as he said I'm climbing up the ladder here, it made sense. So anyway, I had these two different chord progressions, and then I went to New York and I brought my guitar for the one and only time I've ever brought my guitar out of state, and I was just playing guitar there, like just sitting on my bed trying to figure out words to this chord progression that I had made. And then all of a sudden, on the 13-hour ride home, I just hear it all meshed together, and it comes into "Gotta Get Back to the City," and it just
So how long was it from when you had the chord progression to when it hit like that? Was that months? Was that weeks? Was that
I think that was probably
days?
2 years.
Oh, it was
I
years.
think that was probably 2 years, and it was only
Wow.
because
And you kept it in your mind the whole time.
yeah, because I had my chord progression that I really liked, and then he
Wow.
played this one on top of it, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, when I have a 13-hour ride home with nothing to think about, I just realized, oh, those mesh together very well.
Holy
And
shit.
all of a sudden, see across the river, and I shiver and shed a tear. Gotta get back to the city. Yeah, that's not how the song
That's
goes.
awesome. Yeah, we should record it. Why
We should. We
why
should.
have we not recorded this already? Holy shit.
Like I've seen you. I know they call you Seven Take Benny.
Seven Take
I don't
Benny.
know if they really do because you said they don't, but I think they might. And
Yeah.
I've written like they call you Seven Take Benny. Well, I don't know what. Like
You're
I'm,
writing diss tracks against me? You're stacking ammo?
yeah, yeah. Do you have an idea in mind of what you want your lyrics to say, or do you just come up with whatever rhymes and use it? Or
Oh, a
and
lot of
then
times
like,
it's that. Yeah.
do you
A lot
will
of
you
time
go back? Do you ever go back like 4 lines or whatever to change what you said based on a new rhyme you have that you like that doesn't make sense with one from a verse ago?
that no, that doesn't usually happen. I usually try and follow a direct shot. I haven't said anything recently in the last couple of years where I've had to go back more than two bars and continue on. What was the first part of the question?
Do
Oh, do I know what
you
I'm gonna say? Of course, before Friendsgiving happened, I didn't have that idea in my head, and so it happened, and I have the things planned out on my way home, but like directly to your question, it's a mixture of both. I sometimes I have exactly what I want to say right here, and I know exactly this is it. I know this is it, and then well, I got 15 seconds to fill, and what can I
right?
say for 15 seconds until I know that this hits right here? So the idea, what I'm doing is trying to
Okay.
make those shitty 15 seconds as enjoyable as possible for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanna bridge the gap with something that is gonna be entertaining and that also I feel comfortable about. And the thing that you kind of touched on before is that I like to keep it, at least at this time, I like to keep it going out. If something doesn't work, then we're gonna switch up to the next thing, the next take, and go that direction. And everything meets up. It's all crossroads. Shout out to Bone Thugs.
Like obviously we are completely different musicians, but when you're like spacebar Z, well, whatever it is, and you were just like hype, like ready to go, like get the next thing out. Like let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Oh, this works. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. And then me, I guess it's kind of the same way, like just sitting here playing the same three chords over and over again till
Exactly.
I find something that sounds right. And then I go on. But I just
There's kind of a plus and a minus because it becomes that you don't have to remember everything, but then any kind of slurried bullshit that comes out of your head is now recorded, and now it's up to the future you to decipher that and try to only pick the best shit. Because if I can record anything I want to on my phone and I don't have to remember the best shit out like I would if it was like 1995 and I had to remember this and write it down till I got to the studio, if every second of every day I could just record it or do a video or whatever, there's so much garbage that goes on when I record this dumb shit that now I have to decipher it. It actually,
Right.
you're not going to remember some bullshit. You're not going to waste the wave space with some bullshit.
Right.
I've wasted so much wave space with bullshit. I've filled my phone up with just dumb recordings of things I'll never want to hear again.
Yeah, but that's part of your process.
Yeah, true.
You
It's
too,
cool.
like you'll come up to me and you'll say, you'll give me 2 bars and I'm gonna record that. And I just like you always find a way to put whatever you were thinking that day into whatever song you're recording that day. And I
Yeah,
can't do that because I
it's a
don't
different
like,
process.
yeah, my like if I have a certain thought, I have to make a complete new song about it unless it happens to fit in with something else that I've done.